I think and believe that the worst thing that a person can do in a relationship or a marriage or a business partnership is to take your ideas and plans that you and your partner or wife or your husband talked about in private. You take those ideas and you go and tell everybody about what you're about to do, what your dreams are. And I believe that that's the wrong thing to do. Why? Why is it the wrong thing to do? First of all, when you're in a marriage or a relationship or a business partnership, the things that you guys have to do is between y'all. How much it's going to cost, what need to be done to get there, your resources, you should really keep that to yourself because it's nobody else's business. A lot of times, especially women, they have a tendency to tell or talk about what they're doing inside of their relationship. Now, if you're in a relationship and you got a husband or a wife and y'all plan on doing something, just do it. Just do it. Because once you start getting other people involved, what's going to happen is those people that you're telling your dreams to, those people that you're telling your ideas to, they're going to keep asking you about it. And you're going to fit and you're going to give people timelines that you think that things are going to be done, and you're not even discussing that with your husband or the person that you're with. So you going outside making plans and giving people timelines that you say you're going to do something. So when your friends and the people on the outside, whenever they see you, they're going to be questioning you about the things that you said that you and your husband or you and your business partner was going to do. And in most cases, it'll make you question your relationship, and it'll make you question yourself, and it'll make you question what you're doing. It'll make you question your own timeline. And a very dangerous place to be is to be in the place where you feel like you owe people an explanation for everything, or when you feel like you have to tell people what you're going to do just because they're your friends and they're your family members. But you don't have to tell everything that you're doing. You don't have to tell people your future plans. The only thing that's important that you do what you got to do for yourself, because nobody else ain't going to do it for you. You know, if your husband or your wife got a big dream of doing something or making something happen, and you go and tell somebody about it, and then they impose their fears and their opinions on you, now that's messing with your mind. So now when you go back home to your husband and wife, you're trying to take everything that you guys already planned and you're trying to twist it and tweak it because of what you heard on the outside of your relationship. And this is why God can't work in most people's marriages and most people's life, is because you rely too much on the outside for confirmation, for affirmation. You know, you seek the approval of other people. You seek the approval of your friends. You feel like you got to always keep them in the loop of everything that you're doing. You feel like you owe it to them, but you don't owe nobody your business. Your business is your business. Handle your business. That's between you and your business partner, not everybody else. You don't see businesses that get ready to launch a product or to do something that never been done before. They're not going to tell everybody about it before they do it. They keep it a secret. And I don't know why people think that keeping something a secret or just not talking about what you plan on doing, why do people look at that as a bad thing? That's not a bad thing. But that's why a lot of people don't experience their fullest blessing, is because every time God gives them something, and he gives them something with the instruction and the format that it's supposed to be in, You go outside of the format by trying to get approval and affirmation from people outside of your relationship or outside of your partnership. So now you bring that back, and now you got confusion. You had a blueprint that had each step and each thing that you need to do, each thing that need to be done. Sometimes God will give you a vision, but he don't give you no timeline. Sometimes God will give you a vision, but he don't give you no timeline. He can show you, look, this is what you're able to do. This is what you can do. This is where you at, but this is where you can be. So the area between where you're at and where you can be is where you and your partner have to work together in the same direction to get there. But a lot of people be where they at. They look at where they at and where they can be, and they looking for someone outside of the partnership or outside of the relationship to tell them that it's okay or to approve the direction that they're going. So you go and tell your business to everybody else. And you wonder why things don't work out the way you want them to work out or the way you need them to work out. It's because you don't communicate with your husband or your wife. You communicate everything to people outside. You don't have to have all of the answers. And another thing is, you sometimes you could be in a relationship where people really don't trust the person that they with. You see that sometimes they'll see that you got ideas, see that you got a vision, but they still believe that there's somebody out there who needs to come in and help you to go where you need to go. And that's not true. In some cases it might be true, but when God gives you a vision, he'll provide the way for you to get there because he already started it when he gave you the vision. When he gave you the experiences, when he gave you the skills, when he gave you the jobs, when he gave you the sight, when he gave you the motivation, when he gave you the actual vision. That's all you need. But it's all about working together. Working together to work it out and believing in each other. If your woman don't believe in you, she gonna go out and get advice from other people. And when she go and get that advice from other people, she start feeling bad about herself because the other people's advice is at opposition to what her and her husband or her and her business partner discuss. God don't do things regularly. God is not regular. When God speaks to you, when God gives you a vision, sometimes it's something that's never been done, something that you never heard of, something that don't really come with the full instructions. Sometimes you gotta learn to believe. Sometimes you have to be patient. Sometimes you have to be patient because God may not give us a timeline, but he do give us seasons. And there are certain seasons where things are supposed to happen. There are certain seasons where things won't happen. And you got to understand that. So when God gives you a vision, you got to understand that this is God's vision. When God gives you a vision or a way out of something, you got to understand that this is God's vision. When God puts somebody in your life and you both are on the same page with the vision, all you got to do is just continue to be on the same page with the vision. Continue to seek God for advice because he gave you the vision. God gave you the vision. Why are you looking for advice for somebody outside of you? And I think that's a problem with a lot of relationships, is that a lot of people have a vision, a lot of people have a purpose, A lot of people have a passion, but they're looking for approval from people in order to operate in their passion. You don't need people approval to operate in your passion. All you got to do is operate in your passion, and God will approve it. But you got to understand that there are seasons. There are seasons. There's a season when the seed is planted. There's a season when the seed is underground. You don't see a crop. You don't see nothing coming up out of the dirt because it's not that time yet. But all you have to do is believe. Believe in your relationship. Believe in your business partnership. Believe in the people who believe in you. Don't go looking for people to believe in you. You gotta first believe in yourself. And that's the first step to having self-confidence. When you no longer have to go outside of yourself to get affirmation from other people outside of you. If God gave you the seed to plant, all you got to do is plant it and it'll grow. There will be a season and it will be a process that the seed would have to go to in order to grow, but you have to understand that. But most people, when God give them a seed and God give them something, instead of understanding that this seed is from God, they say that this seed I planted in the ground. So I want it to grow on my time. So I'm going to go to 100 different people and ask them, how can I make this seed that God gave me grow fast? Instead of going to God and seeing how God actually does things. Things are done in seasons. People can't make things happen. But things happen when you take what God gives you and apply it. Things happen when you take the seed that God gave you and you plant it. Things happen in your favor when you work together with the people that God placed in your life and you do whatever is required to go to the next level without trying to get advice from ungodly people. You're trying to get advice on the vision that God gave you and your business partner. You're trying to get advice from other people. You're trying to get approval from other people. God already gave you the red light when he gave you the seed. So you need to understand that it's just a matter of time for that seed to grow. It needs to go through its process. It needs to go through its process. A lot of people don't want to go through a process. They just want to skip all of the process and they just want a tree. They want a tree. They want the fruit, but they don't want to farm. They want the tree, but they don't want to wait until the seed becomes a tree. But that's not how life works. There's a season for everything. And when God gives you a seed, just believe that it's yours. And when God gives you a vision and he shows you the way, you got to let God lead the way. Some of you people get a glimpse of what God could give you. And instead of you taking that glimpse and embracing it and holding it, you got to go tell the whole wide world. You got to go and tell the whole wide world what God gave, about the glimpse that God gave you. And what you got to understand is God give us glimpses just so he can show you who you truly are and what you can truly have. God will give you a glimpse to show you who you truly are and what you can truly have and who you are in him. But God is not a he or a she, but who you are in God. A lot of us walk around with glimpses, pieces and fragments of greatness. But because we looking for approval from people outside of us, we never work on our own gifts. I want to be this. I'm going to be that. So you're going to tell everybody what you want to and what you're gonna. And then you got people that impose their fears on you. Say, oh, I used to do that too. And I know somebody who blah, blah, blah. And now you kind of like, you're not even on the same path no more because you basing who you are off of other people's experiences. Instead of believing in yourself. Most people don't believe in themselves. Most people don't know who they are because they never even been by themselves. They can't sit in silence to hear God speak, but they bombard their minds with voices and ideas from books, podcasts, TV, talking on the phone to the same people with the same problems, with the same way of thinking, and you never grow that way. When was the last time you sat with yourself and asked yourself, who are you? Who are you outside of what people think you are? Where do you get your ideas from? Where do you get your inspiration from? What do you spend the majority of your free time doing? Most people spend the majority of their free time watching TV, gossiping on the phone, reading books. And you spend the majority of your whole entire life filling your brain up with information that is useless, and you never work on yourself. You never experience the true you, because everything about you and everything that you download into your body, into your mind, is useless information. Everything that you do with your physical body is useless to you. And the sad part about it, and the crazy part about it, everybody has this life that they see in their brain. I want to have a big house. I want to have a good family with a lot of children. But nothing in your life lines up with what you want in your future. Nothing in your present line up with your future. Nothing. None of the choices that you're making today line up with what you're talking about in your brain. So what do you expect to receive? What do you expect to receive? You got a dream of doing something, but how often do you even do it? But most people, they take the shortcut in life. They make excuses. They got a whole bunch of excuses to why they don't do what they love doing. And they prioritize the things. They prioritize the crutch. If your job is not what you enjoy doing and not your dream, then that's a crutch. And that's your excuse to why you're not doing what you want to do in life. But it's extremely important to know who you are. You got to know who you are, not who people say you are, not what people said you are, but who are you to you? Who are you really to you? What is that thing that eats you up on the inside? What is that thing that light you up on the inside? What's eating you up on the inside? How often do you make excuses for the things that eat you up on the inside? Why is it that you have things in your life that you hate and you're just hoping that they change? Just because. Things don't change just because things change because it want to change. People who make excuses don't change. People who make excuses don't change. And people who make excuses for people are actually the crutch for the people that need change. But what exactly is leading your life? What exactly is leading your life? You say you believe in God. You say that you're a Christian, but the people who you deal with don't believe in God and they not no Christian. You got morals and respect for yourself, but the people around you do the opposite. You come from a certain background, but the people who you hang around come from a totally different background. So you're unequally yoked in so many ways with all of the relationships in your life. What do you think is going to happen with you? What type of life do you think that you're going to actually have? Are you going to be aligned with people who are on the same page as you are? Or are you going to always be here and other people are here, but you accept the people that are here just because you want to be friends or associated with these people? And deep down, it eats you away that you're living your entire life catering to people who are not on your level. You're catering to people who are not on your level. If you're a man who got a connection with God, it's important that you stay connected to God. It's important that you stay connected to God, because God can do things that man can never do. God can do things that a woman can never do. God is the one. God is what frees you from your limitations, from your life limitations, because we got limitations in life because we've been programmed by so many things. But when you experience, when you understand that you're not limited by what people think about you, and you're not limited by you're not limited by what people think about you, but you are limited by what you think about yourself. So what you think about yourself is going to be determined by what you think about life. How do you fit in this life? How do the people fit in your life? How do you fit in? Are you trying to fit in, or are you trying to stand out? Ask yourself that. But most people are just trying to fit in. You got a lot of friends, but none of your friends think like you. You got a lot of friends, but God don't talk to your friends like God talked to you. And what happens is a lot of people who had the potential, who had the opportunity to do something great in life, They dumb themselves down to be in relationships. They dumb themselves down to be in relationships with people who are not on their level. And a lot of y'all is in relationships with people who are not on your level. They don't come from where you come from. They don't believe in God. They have limiting beliefs. Anytime you're in a relationship with somebody who got limiting beliefs, they're going to mess the whole relationship up. You can't go around it. You can't go around it. If I'm believing God for something and this person over here don't believe in God, but they believe in that they need to go and get information and get approval from people outside of the relationship, then that means I'm going to be the only one that's believing. And when you got a person that don't believe in God and a person that don't have no type of faith whatsoever, those type of people usually can't function in life without the approval of other people and without the help of devices. They cannot even go inside to heal themselves. They can't go inside to bring themselves out of whatever depression or whatever it is they might be going through. They don't know how to work through their own problems. And it's important to be in relationships with people who know how to work through their own problems without devices, especially if you're a woman who chooses to be with a man. You don't want to be with a man that has an addiction. You don't want to be with a man that has a device. You don't want to be with a man that has a habit. You want to be with a man that knows how to break habits. You want to be with a man that can overcome. You want to be with a man who is not defined by his job, his title, or things outside of him. You want to be with a man that has great character. You want to be with a man that you can strip everything away from him and he is still a solid man. He's still able to keep his composure. He is still able to love you the same way, whether he got a device, whether he got his medication or not. But most of you people and most women are with men who have mental issues and they need a device or medication in order to stay sane or a quote unquote normal. But the goal should be to be with somebody who's able to function normally without the help of medication and devices. Not saying that you shouldn't be with people who are on medication, but you should at least not want to be on medication. You should not want to depend on something outside of yourself for your health. Because God gave us all the ability to heal ourselves. We can be healed from anything if we believe it. And that's why when you're with somebody who don't believe in God, it's going to be difficult for them to break their addiction. Because they idolize the weed. They idolize the smoking. They really believe that they got anger issues because that's what they believe about themselves. What do you believe about yourself is the most important thing. What do you believe about yourself? Do you have anger issues? Do you need weed to calm yourself down? Or is it that you just got mental issues and emotional issues that you need to work on? And you need to realize that it's an issue that can't be fixed by a device, but it's an issue that needs to be fixed by the changing and the renewing of your mind. It's important to be with people who understand that, especially if you understand that. But you renewing your mind is not going to renew nobody else's mind. If your mind is renewed, and if you have a vision and you have sight and you have a certain belief, your belief is not going to change somebody else's belief at all. Your belief is not going to change somebody else's belief. You have to align with yourself with people who believe what you believe. You got to align yourself with people who's willing to walk that same road that you're going to walk, and y'all walk the road together. Because it's going to be enemies and obstacles out here that you have to go through. And if I'm sober-minded, but you're not sober-minded, that means that you're making me weak. You're pulling me down. So it's important to be with people who want to go where you're going and who want to become better people. Because life is a journey. Nobody's perfect, but we should all be aiming for perfection. We should all be aiming to become better. We should all aim to be self-sufficient, meaning that we don't need medications. We don't need devices. We don't need weed. We don't need to drink. We don't need to do extra stuff just to be human beings. We should be able to exist without having some type of distractions. Most people feel like, oh, we got to go and do something. Oh, let's go and do something. Do something. Do something. So you out here doing all of this extra stuff, distractive stuff, but you never work on your spiritual life. You never work on your mind. Most people are crazy, cuckoo. And you hide behind doing things to keep yourself physically busy because mentally you screwed up. A lot of people are mentally screwed up. You don't know what you're going to do with yourself. You don't know what you're going to do with your life. You just going from one thing to the next thing. And that's what it is. Double OG Truth Seeker, aka Lionheart, I'm out.